At 11:57 p.m., a father sends his last email. At 3:43 a.m., someone inside turns off the internet. In between, two people are murdered, and 18 years later, India still can't explain how. This is the Aarushi Talwar case, India's most debated murder mystery. May 16, 2008, 6:01 in the morning. A housemaid named Barty rings the doorbell of an apartment in Noida's Sector 25. She rings it 3 more times. Eventually, Aarushi Talwar appears on the balcony, which is already unusual. Aarushi and her husband Rajesh are dentists. They work evening shifts. They are not morning people. Normally, the Talwars' live-in servant, a 45-year-old man named Hemraj, would be the one to let her in, but Hemraj is nowhere. Aarushi throws down a set of keys. Barty enters. Inside, both parents are already awake, also unusual. They're in their daughter's bedroom, crying. "Look what Hemraj has done," they say. And then Barty sees her, 13-year-old Aarushi Talwar, motionless in her bed, a pool of blood, her throat cut. Now, here's where this case starts to come apart. Because what happened in the next 24 hours would make solving this crime almost impossible. And some people believe that was not an accident. When the police arrived at 7:15 a.m., there were already 15 people in the living room. 5 or 6 more in the master bedroom, neighbors, friends, family associates. All called by the Talwars. This is not a minor detail. 28 fingerprint samples were lifted from that crime scene. Most were smudged beyond use. The integrity of DNA evidence, gone, trampled by dozens of feet in the first hours of what should have been a sealed scene. And here's what Rajesh Talwar told police shortly after they arrived. He offered them 25,000 rupees, roughly $365, to track down Hemraj. He wanted the police looking for the servant, not examining the apartment, not securing the scene. The Central Bureau of Investigation would later note how actively the parents pushed the narrative that Hemraj was responsible. And then, the terrace default text. Doctors who came to check on the distraught parents noticed something. Blood on the handle of the locked terrace door. Bloodstains on the staircase, smudged footprints. They asked Rajesh for the terrace keys. He went inside and didn't come back out. The police could not access that terrace for an entire day. When they finally broke through the following morning, May 17th, they found Hemraj, partially decomposed. He had been dead since approximately the same time as Aarushi. 2 murders, 1 night, and the terrace key had been in Rajesh's possession while police waited outside. Now here is the detail I mentioned in the beginning. The one that 18 years of investigation has never explained. And the more you think about it, the more it doesn't make sense. At approximately midnight to 1 a.m., both Aarushi and Hemraj are believed to have been killed. At 11:57 p.m. that night, Rajesh Talwar sends his last email. The last verified internet activity from that router. At 3:43 a.m., the router is switched off by someone who was in that apartment. Think about what that means if the killer was a third party, someone who broke in, murdered 2 people, and left. Why would they stick around for nearly 3 hours after the murders to turn off a router? If the parents were asleep, as they claimed, who switched it off? And if someone walked into Aarushi's bedroom at 3:43 to turn off the router, how did they not see the body? There is no answer to this question that doesn't lead somewhere dark. But it gets worse, because Aarushi's phone had already gone dark hours earlier. At 9:10 p.m., before anything else happened that night. And when they found it, the memory had been wiped clean. Aarushi's phone went silent at 9:10 p.m. on the night of the murders. Her friend Amal tried calling her around midnight. No answer. He sent a text. It was never received. The phone was later found on a dirt track near Noida's Sadarpur area. The memory had been wiped completely clean. Someone, before or after the murder, took Aarushi's phone, wiped it, and abandoned it near a road several kilometers away. Now, the keys. Aarushi's bedroom door was routinely locked at bedtime. The keys were normally kept on Aarush's nightstand. But Aarushi told police she couldn't remember whether she had locked the door that night or not. The bedroom keys were found in the living room. The terrace keys were reportedly discovered on Hemraj's bed by Aarushi the next morning. The gate to the building was locked from the outside. No extra set of keys was supposed to exist. So how did whoever committed these two murders move freely through a locked apartment, disappear before 7 a.m., and leave no trace that held up in court? The parents were convicted in 2013, then acquitted in 2017. No other suspect has ever been formally charged. And the case, one of India's most discussed murders, officially remains open, 18 years later. In 2013, Rajesh and Aarushi Talwar were convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. In 2017, the Allahabad High Court acquitted them, ruling that the prosecution had not proven its case beyond reasonable doubt. The court pointed to the catastrophic mishandling of the crime scene as the central failure. The CBI had multiple theories: domestic workers, the parents. Combinations of both, none of them was ever proven. Aarushi Talwar was the only child of two dentists in a Noida apartment. Her last birthday present, a digital camera, was still in the room when they found her. The last photo she ever took was at 10 p.m. that night with her parents. 18 years to murder convictions reversed. A wiped phone, a router switched off in the middle of the night. A body on a terrace that took police a full day to reach. And a 13-year-old girl who deserved so much more than what this case delivered to her memory. The Aarushi Talwar case is not unsolved because the clues weren't there. It's unsolved because the people and institutions entrusted with those clues failed her at every single turn. If you want to understand how a murder case can fall apart before it even starts, share this. And if you followed this case, tell me in the comments, who do you think did it? I genuinely want to know.